There's a nation on this earth with no president, no Congress, and no map. And yet, it runs the largest cooperative empire in the history of life. 3,700 miles. That's like driving from New York City to Los Angeles, turning around and driving halfway back. But this long line isn't a highway, and it isn't a river. It's the border of a single ant family. Today's story is about that empire. In the year 2002, scientists ran a shocking experiment. They brought together Argentine ants living in Italy with Argentine ants living on the Atlantic coast of Spain. Ants separated by 3,700 miles. By the laws of nature, they should have treated each other as strangers and fought. But the opposite happened. The ants accepted each other like family and started working together.
In that moment, science understood. These are not millions of separate colonies. This is a single colony called a supercolony. Millions of nests, billions of workers, and one shared identity. Even Guinness World Records recognizes it as the largest ant colony on Earth. The architect of this empire is a small brown ant, the Argentine ant, known to science as Linepithema humale. Its homeland is South America, Argentina, Uruguay, Paraguay, Bolivia, and Brazil. There, it was just an ordinary ant, small colonies that kept fighting each other. But in the 1890s, everything changed. A ship carrying coffee from Brazil docked at the port of New Orleans, right here in America. And with that cargo, this tiny ant stepped onto an entirely new continent. From there began a conquest that no army on Earth could match.
The secret of their success is their society. While most ant colonies have a single queen, Argentine ant nests have hundreds of queens. They don't conquer territory through war. A piece of the old nest simply splits off and founds a new one, a process called budding. That's why their empire spreads like a net. And they can't even sting. Instead, they spray formic acid to defend themselves. Every ant carries a chemical passport on its body, a special scent written on its outer shell. When two ants meet, they smell each other with their antennae.
If the scent is different, war begins. But when Argentine ants arrived in new lands, only a handful of individuals made the journey, so everyone there became close relatives. Genetic diversity dropped, the passports became identical, and the very idea of a stranger disappeared. Science calls this state unicoloniality. The energy other ants waste on fighting each other, Argentine ants invest in expansion. That's why their empire has no civil war and no border disputes. From Italy to Spain, every single ant is a citizen of the same nation. But don't mistake this peace for innocence. Where one supercolony's border meets another, there rages a conflict called the biggest war in the history of the animal kingdom. Right here in America, in San Diego County, two giant supercolonies have faced each other for years, the billion ant megacolony and the very large colony. The front line stretches for miles, and estimates say up to 30 million ant soldiers die in this war every single year. Think about that. Every year, more soldiers die on this tiny front line than in many human wars, and no one remembers them because they are only 2 or 3 millimeters long. Endless cooperation inside the border, and endless war beyond it. In this way, perhaps they're not so different from us. Europe is not alone. Here in California, the supercolony stretches for about 560 miles, from San Diego all the way past San Francisco. In New Zealand, it runs more than 430 miles. And in Japan sits another ancient empire, the Ishikari supercolony of the Formica eiacensis ant. 45,000 connected nests,
306 million workers and more than 1 million queens, all packed into a single square mile. But the most astonishing discovery is this. Genetic studies suggest that the world's largest Argentine supercolonies behave as if they are all members of one single global supercolony. That means an ant in California and an ant in Japan could, in theory, be citizens of the same nation, an empire on which the sun never sets. But wherever this empire spreads, nature's balance collapses. The Argentine ant is listed among the world's most dangerous invasive species. It wipes out native ants, it steals food from birds and pollinators, and it farms crop-destroying pests like aphids the way we farm dairy cattle. Wherever the river of Argentine ants flows, nature's original residents are simply evicted. To understand the scale, remember this.
A single leafcutter ant nest has been found with more than 7,000 chambers and tunnels plunging more than 25 feet underground. And on the entire planet, according to a 2022 study, there are 20 quadrillion ants. That's 20 million billion. About 2.5 million ants for every single human being. Their total weight is more than all the wild birds and mammals on Earth combined.
We humans take pride in being civilized, but ants built a 3,700-mile nation without borders long before we did. No leaders, yet perfect coordination. No laws, yet perfect discipline. And still, the moment a border is crossed, war. Perhaps that is why, when we look closely into the world of ants, we don't see a tiny creature. We see a mirror of ourselves. A mirror that asks,
Will our empires, too, one day, be measured in the history books by something this small? This story is dedicated to the 20 quadrillion ants living on Earth.